Good evening, everyone. I call to order the July 2017 legislative meeting of the Borough Council. Please stand and join me in the salute to our flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you for joining us on this mucky evening. It is a difficult weather day, but we'll get through it. We have a couple of housekeeping matters to take care of. First is approval of the workshop meeting minutes for this past month, June. Do I hear a motion to approve those meeting minutes as submitted?
So moved.
I'll take that as a second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those who favor adopting the workshop meeting minutes for June 2017 as submitted, please say aye.
Yes.
Aye. Those opposed, please say nay. The motion passes. And then the second set of meeting minutes is for our last legislative meeting this past month. Do I hear a motion to approve those meeting minutes as submitted?
So moved.
I'll take that as a second again. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of adoption, please say aye.
Aye. Yes.
Those opposed, please say nay. Please note for the record that I abstained because I was not present for the last legislative meeting. The motion passes and those meeting minutes are adopted as submitted. Two other housekeeping matters. I will announce that our last workshop meeting, we met in executive session to discuss a property matter, and we also met in executive session to discuss a personnel matter. So housekeeping taken care of, we can move on to public comment and privilege of the floor. If there's anybody here who wishes to address council at this time, please stand, go to the microphone, please tell us your name and where you live. All right, we have no takers this evening. We'll move on then to the engineer's report as soon as he arrives. Until he arrives, we'll move along to the solicitor, Mr. Scott.
Thank you, Mr. President. I don't have anything for this portion of the meeting.
Okay, well, we're batting 1,000 so far. We'll move along to the mayor's report. Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. I do not. Let's see, attached everyone has the 840 complaints of June 2017. Also is an incident crime log containing brief notes on case of significance during June as well as July 1st through the 19th. Two burglaries occurred in the month of June. On 6/1, a resident in the unit block of West Franklin reported someone within the last week had stolen a portable safe from the closet of his home. The safe was later recovered in a wooded area in Milltown Township before being broken into. Suspect in the theft are those related to the victim. The case remains open. On 6/7, June 7th, shortly after midnight, officers responded to a burglary in progress at an apartment in South Manchester Avenue and arrested an individual who broke a ground floor window out while the resident was home, and the arrest is subject. He's been arrested and he's subject to trial. Officers have been and will continue to conduct patrol checks at the school property on a daily basis. Recent events have led the department to strictly enforce the ordinances surrounding usage of the facility as well as a curfew. Please see the copy of the recently sent email. This has been more of a problem in the past month, and police are on top of it. They've had several conversations with some of the kids that are involved and how they're riding their bikes in a very dangerous way, and a few other things like that. So, Mayor's Global and Covenant for Climate and Energy, Walt Kressler, I agreed to sign the original Global Covenant for Climate and Energy, but now there's an updated, better one that I guess I will have my hands on tomorrow and be able to sign it. So I'll set to do it. That's it.
All right, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Does anyone have any questions for the mayor? Hearing none, we will circle back to the engineer's report. Mr. Matson.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just a few items tonight. We have a draft resolution that we received from the Aqua Group, who's redoing the 537 plan for the plant. I'll forward over to the solicitor and to the borough manager for consideration. Second is the road program. is complete. All punch list items have been resolved. So we are moving forward with the final payment for in-kind this year. I think they did a very nice job. Last thing to report is we did receive prices for restoration work for the garage so that we can move forward with some of the work to help remediate some of the recent leaks that have popped up through the joints. So we have contacted a number of different contractors. Mara Construction or Restoration, who are the folks that helped the county with their garage when they were having difficulties with it, was the group that I was happy with. So I'll be in touch with the borough manager to get the prices.
All right, thank you. Does anyone have any questions for Mr. Matson or comments?
We have in our folder a quote from Mara for caulking. Is this what you're seeking to get approval to do?
That's exactly right, yes.
Well, would you like us to vote on it this evening?
If you so choose, if you elect to, yes.
I don't know whose report that
I
would
think
be.
that's Councilman Robinson.
Okay.
And that's the understanding there is that there is some very quick, short-term work that needs to take place in order to stop some of the drainage issues that are out there. But long-term, probably most likely, most appropriately, in the capital plan, there would be some additional work that has to be done with the garage. But step one is to really just stop some of those areas that are troublesome.
And as I think you've been at pains to emphasize in previous meetings, this is the nature of maintenance costs for which the borough has allotted money in its budget, and that there is nothing structurally deficient with our parking curb.
That's correct. That's right. So we've had, again, from time to time, I'll ask our structural engineers to take a look at it, just to make sure that the ramp is okay, that the overall columns are okay, that the building's not in any danger. It's just the area where there are joints, it's leaking, which is bothersome to people who are trying to park there if there's rain. So, but
Basically, we need a good caulk job.
that's right. This time around, that's right. Again, long term, there's probably some additional work to be done, but that's what we're going to do.
All right, thank you, Mr. Matson. Does anyone else have any questions or comments for the borough engineer? Hearing none, we'll move along to the council committee reports, and we will start, as we are wont to do, with Recreation Board of Health. Councilman Boyer.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just a few brief announcements from the July meeting of REC. There are still tickets to the Philadelphia Union game available. That is Saturday, August the 12th. The tickets are $20. It does not include transportation, so you have to get yourself to the stadium in Chester, but there are tickets available. At least there were as of earlier this week, so you can contact Paula to get your tickets if you choose to do that. That same day, or actually that same evening, is the last movie night of the summer. That would be again Saturday, August the 12th. It's a retro movie. Back to the Future is going to be shown. They decided to kind of go in that direction for the last movie, so that should be kind of interesting. Back to the Future on Saturday night, August the 12th, down at Borough Field, weather permitting, obviously, but hopefully we'll be lucky like we were the other two. There are upcoming tennis camps the week of August the 14th and the week of August the 21st. This is traditional. At the end of the camp season, they offer tennis camps at the tennis courts down at Borough Field. And generally the way it works is there's a younger group in the first week and an older group in the second week, so you can check with Paula to see what the ages are. But that would be $10 per camper, and that's for the entire week, and generally that includes a t-shirt, so great deal. The Rec Commission is continuing to upgrade the playroom, and this time of the year that comes in really handy. That's on the 3rd floor of the community center. They replaced the carpet recently. They are in the process of replacing some of the toys that have been kind of, let's say, old and tired, and buying new toys for that. So it's nice and air conditioned. Those of you who have young ones and want something to do, it's a nice alternative, and it's open, I believe, up to late 30 when the Borough Hall's open. And then finally, I would like to personally thank the Rec Board for their hard work on the July the 4th celebration. It was very successful as usual. Everybody had a great time. They had face painting, they had crafts. They generally have a water slide. Silly Joe was a big hit as usual. So thanks to the Rec Board. It's a very small group of people, but they do a great job, and we're always grateful that they put on such wonderful events, and it really makes the borough look good. So I appreciate their hard work. And that's my report.
Thank you. Anyone have any questions for Councilman Boyer? Okay, hearing none, we'll move on to Councilwoman Lisa Johnson.
Thank you. I'm pleased to announce, the NBA is pleased to announce that Dining Under the Stars, our outdoor event each Wednesday night, won Best of Mainline Today award for the 4th year in a row. So that's doing great. So it's every Wednesday night, 5 to whenever, through September, so take advantage. Dining under the Stars will also have a decorated table at this year's Best of the Main Line event at Drexel Brook, and that's Thursday, July 27th. And NBA also wanted to announce that the 10th annual Downtown Media Car Show took place on Sunday, and it was a record-setting 320 cars plus came out for the event. So it was a mob scene. But it was fun.
They all do it.
Historical Architectural Review Board and the Historical Media Society did not meet. That's all I have.
Thank you, Lisa. Does anyone have any questions for Councilwoman Johnson? Hearing none, we'll move along to Vice President Robinson.
Good evening. First and foremost, I do every month, I want to encourage residents and non-residents of the borough to consider volunteering their time and services to the media fire company or EMS. They can always use your help either as a firefighter or in an administrative position. With regards to legislative responsibilities this evening, first on my agenda is the acceptance of our stormwater management plan. We hired an engineering firm, golly gee, Jeff's going to know, but I'm going to say well over a year ago now, to do a in-depth study of some of our stormwater issues. As we all recognize, we live in a very old town. Stormwater was not even a thought on our forefathers' minds when they were building this great town. But now we have to consider it. So we brought in a T&M engineering who has been working on this plan for a significant amount of time, put together several drafts, and I do believe that this evening, after every member of council has had more than ample time to take a look at the reports, that it's time that that I would like to make a motion that we accept the stormwater management plan presented to the borough by T&M Engineering.
All right, motion's been made. Is there a second on the motion?
Second.
There is. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor of accepting the stormwater management plan for Meteor Borough as offered by T&M, please say aye.
Aye.
Yes.
Aye. Those opposed, please say nay. The motion passes.
And with regards to this plan, this is number 2 on my agenda. T&M did have some additional work in which they did not anticipate, was not part of the original response to our RFP. Really, most of it was we had some old storm manhole covers that had not been opened in decades. Took a significant amount of work to open, and that did exceed some of their time and cost. So the company did request, and after consideration, council decided that some of the requests that we would honor. So there are additional costs for the services of a dollar amount of $6,140. I make a motion that we authorize the borough office and our manager to issue the payment to T&M in the dollar amount of $6,140.
Is there a second on the motion?
Second.
Is there any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all those in favor of authorizing the borough manager to submit a payment amount of $6,140 to T&M for additional costs related to the stormwater management plan, please say aye.
Yes.
Aye. Those opposed, please say nay. The motion passes.
And next on the agenda, it seems like this is a stormwater management night for myself. State of or Commonwealth of Pennsylvania is requiring all municipalities to do what they call an MS4 stormwater permit application. It takes a significant amount of work. The state has been talking about it for years, and finally they're making the local municipalities step up to the plate and put this information together and submit what they call an application to the state. With this, I make a motion that we authorize our borough engineering firm of McCormick and Taylor to perform the work and to generate said application for the state in a dollar amount not to exceed $20,000.
Second.
Motion is made and seconded. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all those in favor of approving that proposal, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, say nay. The motion passes.
And continuing with the stormwater theme, we are also applying for several grants that are out there in the Commonwealth, but part of these requirements are to prepare and design sketches of some of our stormwater issues and areas. And with that, we have to develop sketches for these. And with that, it is my recommendation that, again, we use our engineering firm of McCormick and Taylor to generate these sketches. We do have some of these funds from a prior grant, so we can use some of these funds to help pay for these sketches. But to authorize Taylor McCormick to design and prepare these sketches for the stormwater management grant not to exceed $10,000.
Is there a second on the motion?
Second.
Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none. All those in favor of authorizing, the release of funds to the borough engineer not to exceed $10,000 for the purpose of preparing design sketches for stormwater management grant. You're right, we have been inundated by those. Please say aye.
Yes.
Aye. Those opposed, please say nay. The motion passes.
Last couple of items are 5 and 6 are really somewhat housekeeping items. Number 5 is to enter into a renewal agreement with Sealy Heating and Air Conditioning. They are the firm that handles the AC and the heating for the Borough complex here. We have used them for several years. They've been bought out, but the same mechanics come and service the Borough. So I make a motion that we enter into a renewal agreement with SILA for heating and air conditioning maintenance of Borough Hall.
Is there a second? There is. Any discussion on the motion? This is in the nature of a housekeeping matter. Then we'll take a vote. All those in favor of approving the agreement with SILA for heating and air conditioning maintenance services here at Borough Hall, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? The motion passes.
And next on the agenda is a proposal from Salento Energy Services for inspection and maintenance of our solar panels. For those of you that may not know, most of you should because there's still signs that reflect it. Media was the solar town of the Commonwealth for some time, I believe, Mr. Mayor. We have a significant amount of solar panels on both public property, meaning Borough Hall, as well as private property, the library, the theater, media school, and some other places. What we have not been able to do or have not done is to continue the maintenance and or to ensure that these panels are operating fully. So with that, we felt that it was necessary that we take these steps to make sure that they are up and running. Also, this firm will provide some statistical information for us with regards to other grants for other solar panels that we may be able to use within the borough. So again, I'd make a motion that we enter into this agreement for the repair and maintenance of the solar panels as referenced in number 6.
Is there a second on the motion?
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all those in favor of entering into an agreement with Salento Energy Services for inspection, maintenance, and repair of borough solar panels, please say aye.
Yes.
Aye. Those opposed, please say nay. The motion passes.
And on the agenda, I may look to the solicitor for assistance on this. The borough for decades owned our own water company. And part of the property in which we still own, even though we sold the company, the borough maintained and did not sell our property in which the water company was located on, as well as some of our water towers. One of these pieces of property are located out in Middletown Township, in the vicinity of what is still being called the Franklin Mint, in which there is currently a significant redevelopment of that area. With that, the developer by the name of the Key Group needs a temporary easement agreement with the borough to place a road in the new development. So this is something that our solicitor and borough council has been working on for some time. The borough is and will be compensated for this easement. So I make a motion that we enter into the temporary easement agreement with the Key Group as referenced in the agreement with the solicitor. Was it last week, Bob, you sent it out?
Yeah.
Last week.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all those in favor of entering into a temporary easement agreement with the McKee Group for purposes of the property on Middletown Township, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, please say nay. Motion passes.
And last on my agenda, which the engineer brought up, was the Borough Group for the restoration, or really as President referenced, some caulking of our parking garage. This was a proposal submitted on July 20th, today. And I just wish to confirm with the engineer the price is $5,620.
That's correct.
Okay, just wanted to double check on that one. So I'd like to make a motion that we enter into this agreement to have this work done. It is something that we have to do, and I am pleasantly surprised that the price is not that bad. So I'd make a motion that we enter into the agreement with not to exceed $5,620.
Second.
Second on the motion. Any discussion on the motion? I will note that we have money in the budget specifically for the purpose of periodic maintenance of the Borough garage. So this is within the amount that we set aside in the budget. All right, all those in favor of entering into an agreement with the Borough Group for maintenance of the parking garage in the amount not to exceed $5,620, please say aye.
Aye.
Yes.
Aye. Those opposed, please say nay. The motion passes.
Mr. President, the contractor did say if he had the ability to work on Saturday, that he could do this work a lot faster. So I offer that for the council's consideration. If the contractor could work on Saturday, he could get this work done very quickly.
Mr. Scott, do our ordinances currently prohibit? I don't think it does, but there are different time constraints.
Yeah,
Would he be doing one level at a time like they normally do?
But most of the work is being done on the third floor.
On the third floor?
Just the third, that's right.
Especially this time of year, when so many people are on vacation, I think, we could easily shut down. I think we just need to know in advance so Public Works can shut it down in a timely manner, or have the police do it late at night.
Certainly. I'll coordinate with the police chief and with Borough.
Yeah, but I think that would be this time of year would not be an issue.
Okay.
All right, thank you. Anything else, Mr. Engineer?
No.
All right.
And again, to concluding my report, with this heat, I just also would like to thank our Public Works Department. It is hot, it is a difficult job. They get out there and do a great job. I was talking to some of them, they're still out there with smiles on their face. I'm not sure how they do it because I sure would not be able to. And last but not least, I want to thank Sarah because without her tonight, nothing would have been seconded. So I appreciate it. We're going to move on. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. All right. So it's my turn. I have a few items for legislative action. The first one is with regard to some images that are off to my immediate left. This is a preliminary final land development application for 501 East Baltimore Avenue. For those of you for whom that address does not immediately bring to mind where we are, this is at the intersection of Baltimore Avenue and Providence Road, where the Lukoil station used to stand. Anybody who's been past there the past couple of months know that it no longer is standing. And this is proposed to go up in its place. It is a retail structure that could accommodate 2 retail establishments, as well as a drive-through, perhaps for purposes of a morning beverage. It is a plan that is almost fully compliant with our subdivision and land development ordinance. There are just a few waivers that are required. First of which is that it is coming to us as a combined preliminary and final land development. And a request for waiver of separating those 2 components is often granted. It's almost customarily done. The other 2 waivers are fairly minor. One is to allow the use of planters as opposed to those concrete wheel stops that you see in parking spaces, which almost routinely begin to crumble a couple of years after they're put in. And planters, I think, are far more visually attractive than the wheel stops. The other waiver that's requested is for the number of trees. Under our ordinance, there's a requirement that I believe it is 10 trees be planted, and here is proposed that I think it's 6. No, there's 6, I apologize, there's 6 street trees required. The problem here is that if they add those trees in, then you have sightline distance issues. In other words, if you come up to the corner and you wish to make a right-hand turn onto Providence Road, you might not be able to see what's going on there because there are so many trees in the way. The applicant has a way of inducing us to grant that waiver, they have agreed to put in put in fencing. What is that?
It's 14 are required and 8 will be provided.
Okay, all right. So it's a difference of 6. Trees will be planted, but fewer than are required under.
It doesn't mention the wheel stops either, so.
But it does mention the wheel stops in the narrative of the conditions, rather, because I don't believe that those wheel stops are required by the seller. I think they were requested by one of the planning agencies. So so it's not listed on the waiver exhibit, but it is listed in one of the conditions.
It's condition
Number
number
9.
number 8 and 9. Yeah, number 9, correct. So there is a requested waiver for the number of street trees, and I think it does make sense that we grant that waiver because there is a sightline issue, and the applicant is willing to put in decorative fencing. If you look to the second of the 2 images, you'll see it there, which will nicely mirror the decorative fencing that will be across the street with the new Wawa project. This was before the Planning Commission, and it was unanimous recommendation that we approve the application, and I agree with them. That's why I'm making a motion tonight that we approve the preliminary final land development application for 501 East Baltimore Avenue.
Motion's been made and seconded. Is there any discussion with regards to the motion? All those in favor of passing Resolution 2017-24, preliminary final land development application for the property of 501 East Baltimore Avenue, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Ayes have it.
I think I can speak for all of council that this is a definite improvement over what was formerly there, and we look forward to seeing this project move forward. Item number 2 is a zoning hearing board application. It's 319 West State Street. Those of you who lived here long enough know that that is where we once had a grocery store. And those of us whose eyesight has dimmed over the years probably are very familiar with the Neil Carrick Eye Associates. The request here is for an awning. Anyone who's familiar with that property knows that this building actually looks out onto the parking lot, and most of the establishments there have awnings, with one exception. The one exception is the optometrist, and they would like to have an awning too. And so, which does make sense, because if you have eyesight issues and you're looking for this particular shop, you might not see it because it doesn't have an awning with its name on it. So the way that I look at these zoning hearing board applications is that unless they implicate the health, safety, welfare of Borough and its residents, this is something that we should not oppose before the zoning hearing board. The zoning hearing board will sort this out. So I'm not making a motion with regard to this tonight, but we have a 5-second rule that's completely arbitrary. If anybody on council wishes to make a motion that we do send our solicitor to the zoning hearing board to oppose this, now is your opportunity to make that motion.
I do have a question, because I don't know if we were able to get the answer with regards to were the other establishments, did they go through zoning hearing to get their awnings? Number 2, Mel Carrick also has a freestanding sign. They also have a wall-mounted sign. Are they exceeding their square footage of signage, and/or are they just exceeding their permitted signage, meaning, freestanding wall and awning?
So I'll answer your questions in turn. Yes and no. Yes, according to Jim Jeffrey, the code enforcement officer, the other awnings were properly a request for.
So they all went
variance.
through. Okay.
They went through, with one exception, which might have been grandfathered in. That's a tortured history. As to the signage, it does not exceed.
Okay.
All right, you said that turning the wrong way. Say
I
it
apologize.
again.
I'm turning the right way.
Yes.
Yes and no. Yes, the other awnings there was an application made for variances for those other awnings, with I believe one exception, which might be an historical artifact, And no, the requested, the signage that I'm wanting will not exceed the amount of signage that's permitted under the code.
That was my question, Brian, and I'm not trying to be a pain with the total amount of signs.
Right.
They have 3 signs, so it's not this total square footage, it's do they exceed the amount of signs permitted on a single building?
The answer is no.
Okay.
No, they don't.
All right, motion's been made, or there is no motion.
There's no motion.
That was my 5-second rule, so going once, going twice, no motion.
All right. Item number 3, this is a proposed amendment to our zoning code that would permit bed and breakfast establishments in Media Borough. At the present time, there is nowhere in the borough where bed and breakfasts are permitted as a matter of right. Council over the course of this past year have been thinking about this and whether or not it makes sense that in media we permit bed and breakfast as a matter of right in certain areas of the borough. And having talked about this and listened to some who have opinions on the matter, we've concluded it does make sense that we permit bed and breakfast in certain areas of the borough. So that's what this ordinance is about. It would permit a bed and breakfast as a matter of right or use by right in the office district, roughly Monroe Street over to Olive from Front to about 4th. A lot of the old Victorians that were converted into professional office space. Bed and breakfast would be permitted there as a matter of right so long as the number of units in the bed and breakfast did not exceed 4 and there was sufficient parking provided. This ordinance also would permit bed and breakfast as a special exception in the Historic Resources Overlay District. We have a number of structures, buildings throughout the borough that have been designated historic structures of historic significance. And for those structures, the owner may go before the zoning hearing board, make their case, and if the zoning hearing board agrees with them, they can grant a special exception, and bed and breakfast would be permitted there. There's not a cap on the number of rooms, but the zoning hearing board will look at such things as availability of parking, neighborhood response, etc., in deciding the appropriate number of rooms that could be offered. So that's in a nutshell what this amendment proposes to do. I will note that the Planning Commission has had its crack at this a couple of times, and they have made a recommendation to Media Borough Council that we adopt the ordinance as it is currently drafted. So I move that we adopt ordinance number 1126 of 2007.
And I'd like to second that motion. So the motion's been made and seconded. Is there any discussion with regards to that motion? All those in favor of passing ordinance number 1126 of 2017, amending our zoning code for a bed and breakfast establishments, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Ayes have it.
Zia Monica, long and winding road, but there you are.
Congratulations. Good luck.
Good luck.
First step.
Yes. All right. So item number 4 on my portion of the agenda is ordinance number 1127. This is also an amendment, but to our zoning code. It's also an amendment to our zoning code. This is with regard to regulating the location of medical marijuana dispensaries in, unless I miss if my memory fails me, Mr. Scott, also
Grow
grow
facilities.
facilities. I believe that that's the way it's written.
Can't remember.
Last I looked, I think that they were both there.
And I don't know.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, all right, good.
Dispensaries and grow facilities.
correct.
That's what I thought.
So by way of background, recently the Pennsylvania State Legislature has permitted medical marijuana facilities subject to the appropriate licensures and certifications. We are a subordinate governing body to the Pennsylvania State Legislature, and so if they say that something is legal, we can't say it's not. That we can't say it's illegal. Not that there's any sentiment on council that this ought to be an illegal activity. It's just that is the conceptual background behind this. So we need to make place in our zoning code where medical marijuana dispensaries, as well as growing facilities, may be located If we do not, then our zoning code could later be challenged as deficient, and the person who is seeking to put in a medical marijuana dispensary or a growing facility can then make the argument that they may site or they may place those facilities anywhere in the borough. We think that the wiser course of action now is to define where it is that these facilities may be placed, so that we don't have to face a trickier situation later on. I'll note that the state law permits or forbids a medical marijuana dispensary or growing facility within 1,000 feet of a church, a school, or a daycare facility, which essentially means that there's only one place in Media Borough where you can have such a facility, which is in our industrial district. Our industrial district is in the far western part of town where many of us go to get our cars repaired, Brook Street, Painter Street, down towards just south of Baltimore Avenue, where Best Produce used to be. But it is possible that in the future, as things develop in the borough, what is now a school no longer is, and we could be faced with the possibility of somebody looking to place a medical marijuana dispensary in a residential area. So this is our way of getting ahead of this and making sure that if anybody is interested to locate such a facility in Media Borough, they have a home for it, and the home will be in the industrial district. So I move that we adopt ordinance number 1127 of 2017.
Motion is made. Is there a second to the motion? I will second the motion. Is there any discussion with regards to the motion? All those. Yes, go ahead.
So now the whole industrial area is, the industrial area would be okay. And now what are the streets? What is the area?
Broken Painter.
That's it?
That's it.
Okay.
I do have a question, Mr. Solicitor. If a daycare wanted to open up in the industrial district, they would be allowed to, but the dispensary would still be allowed to stay, I assume?
Well, I'm not sure if a daycare center would be permitted, but assume it is, then it would have that radius, would push out any medical marijuana.
Really?
Yeah.
Even if they pre-exist, Mr. Scott?
No, it's the medical marijuana.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Oh, I'm sorry, yeah.
If somebody comes in and builds a
Yeah.
facility down there and
Right,
a daycare,
then it would be grandfathered.
and the only reason I ask that question is that is a section of the borough that is changing significantly, and I would not be, shocked
Yeah.
if sometime in the foreseeable future that something in that general facility became a daycare or had a daycare. So if medical marijuana opened up there, then a daycare came in, medical marijuana gets to stay. Okay.
Yeah, and if it's the reverse, if a daycare was there first, its
Push it
radius
out.
would
Okay.
include.
Okay. Motion is made, second. Any other further discussion? All those in favor of passing ordinance 1127 of 2017, amending the zoning code for regulating the location of medical marijuana dispensaries and grow facilities, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Ayes have it.
Item number 5 is a resolution. It's a resolution number 2017-25. This is with regard to a grant application. The grant application is to the DCED, and it's looking for money to fund our wayfinding project. About a year ago, we approved a wayfinding project that I actually think is excellent. And if we have the opportunity to implement it, it really will be a tremendous addition to Media Borough. But these things cost money. Good things don't come free. And it's very helpful to us if we can get some support from state sources. So that's what this is about. It's permitting us to make application for a state funding source. And the grant that we're looking for is the amount of slightly over $850,000. It's a lot of money, but it's a very worthwhile project. And if we get that money, it will be put to very good use. So I move that we adopt Resolution 2017-25 which will permit us to submit an application to the DCED for funding for our wayfinding program.
Motion is made and seconded. Any discussion with regards to the motion?
Yeah, I have a question. Just I wanted a little detail, because when we were presented with the memo by Karen Tessiglux at the workshop, there were 4 items that were potentially to be included. From what I can judge by the total that's being proposed for the projects, it appears that we selected the first 2 of the 4 to submit, the signage plan and the stamped asphalt crosswalks. Is that correct?
Yes. Yes, after Karen had an opportunity to speak to the funders of the grant, they had suggested combining those 2, which council seemed in favor of. So that's you're absolutely right, that's the number that is arrived at there.
And then note, just for the rest of council members, we talked about this at workshop. Karen told us, encouraged us to do a higher percentage of our commitment than was minimally necessary. Remember, 30%, and the resolution's at 35%. So note that too. I'm still in favor. I just wanted you all to know that. Okay, thank you.
Any other discussion with regards to the motion? All those in favor of passing Resolution 2017-25 for the submission of a Department of Community and Economic Development Multimodal Transportation Fund Grant application, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Ayes have it.
The next motion is one that we always make regretfully. Deb Shipley, who has served the borough in a number of different capacities over the years, including as part-time facilities coordinator, the person that you call if you wish to use the community center. She has decided to disembark the ship of state and get in her own little rowboat and chart her own course. So she submitted her letter of resignation. So I make the motion tonight that we accept with regrets Deb Shipley's letter of resignation as part-time facilities coordinator.
Motion is made and seconded. Any discussion with regards to the motion? I can say I've known Deb for a long time.
You're across the street here?
She babysat my kids, and my kids aren't kids anymore. So she's a great person, great neighbor, a lot of fun. We will miss her. She did a great job here for the borough, as well as doing a lot of the social media work for the business authority. So did a great job. So we will miss her, but as you said, best of luck in her new endeavors.
She'll still be with us. She'll still be there.
She'll still be there.
If there's anybody out there who's interested in serving in that position, then please send a letter of interest to our manager, Jeff Smith. You may find his contact information on the borough website. And hopefully sometime next month we'll be in position to either next month or September to appoint somebody for that position. My last item is an item that will authorize our solicitor. Oh, I thought we did.
No, we didn't. We can discuss it.
Okay.
All those in favor of the resignation of Debbie Shipley, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Ayes got it. Go ahead.
Okay, thanks. Last item is, I worry about getting lost in the weeds here. So to some, I might be turning my attention over to Mr.
You want me
Scott.
to do it? You want me to do it?
You take my cue. It's like Fred and Ginger.
So, in connection with the dual left turn lane project at Providence and Baltimore, the borough needs to acquire some right of way. In 3 instances, it's to place a traffic signal, and in the other 6 instances, it's temporary construction easements where the borough's just going to have to be on private property, or I should say the contractor. To add this extra southbound left-hand turn lane. And we are seeking to get these easements from the property owners, some of whom have agreed, some have not. If we need to acquire them through condemnation, we need to have an appraisal showing what the value of them is, and therefore asking for authority to hire an appraiser to do appraisals on 4 properties. There are 6 properties at issue. 2 of them have either provided the easement or have agreed to do so. The other 4 need to be prepared to do condemnation if necessary. And that requires an appraisal.
What he said in a form of a motion.
Motion's made, I will second that motion, I do understand it. I also understand that the gentleman you're thinking about using was a borough resident, has done a lot of work in the borough.
It's Peter Barrow, I don't mind that you mentioning the name. He was another Providence resident, I wasn't aware of the name.
Yep, on Edgemont Street.
And he now lives in Chester, so he's a county, resident, and he does a lot of right-of-way work. He does this for Middletown Sewer Authority, as well as for private parties who are having their property condemned.
I'll add to the motion that the cost per easement does not exceed $1,500.
I'll amend.
You have to second.
Is that, I'll amend it. All those in favor of moving forward with the hiring of Peter Barrow for the right-of-way for the 2 left-hand turn lanes, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
Well,
What?
I wondered if we should put a cap on the dollar.
He did.
Oh, I'm sorry. I missed that.
It's $1,500 per
Yes,
road.
yes.
Okay.
All right, that exhausts my list of legislative items. One announcement. I'm sure that all of us have seen those lovely artworks or the reproduction of artworks all throughout town. That has come by way of the Philadelphia Museum of Art Inside Out program, assisted by the Media Arts Council. A reminder that one of the wonderful bonuses of that program is that 2 weekends of this year, media residents get free entry to the Philadelphia Museum of Art. So long as you bring some type of document, whether it's a license or it's a phone bill or something like that, that puts you in the Media Borough zip code, you will get free entry to the art museum. That's, I believe it actually is tomorrow, Saturday and Sunday. So we have 3 days, and it's air conditioned there, folks. It's nice. I think the second weekend is middle of October, October 17, unless I miss my cats. So for those of you who are heading towards the city or are looking for something to do, what a great way to do something great for yourself and for any of your friends and family who can produce evidence that they live in Media Borough.
And they have a concert on, which day is it? This Saturday? Young lady? I'm looking at Jeff because I'm hoping he can help me.
He's good with media stuff. You get him out of media, he really doesn't know what's going on in the Philadelphia Art Museum. Right, Mr. Smith?
There's always something going on the steps there at the Museum of Art. So
But the concert is, that's getting a free concert also.
you get music as well. Perfect. All right, that concludes my report.
Any questions for the council president? Gavel's back to you.
We'll move along to Councilman Williamson.
Okay, I'm the liaison to the library, and at the last board meeting, they reorganized their board, and I thought I ought to let you know. Obviously, this is on their website as well, which I encourage you to go look at, so you can find out all the activities that are going on at the library. It's a busy place. But the new president of the library board is Larry Charzan. He had served on the board already. He replaced Robin Beaver, who served admirably for a number of years on that board. I know the board will miss her. I'll miss her. She was a great president, but she's decided to concentrate on other things. The new secretary is Kelly Schaefer, who is also the borough's representative on the board. We get to appoint some members of the board, and Kelly lives in the borough, and she's now the secretary, and Marie Sacchetti is the treasurer. There's 3 new board members. They actually had more board volunteers to be on the board than they needed. They needed to replace 3. The 3 new ones are Preeti Gupta, Sharon Vandegrift, and Karen Ashbach. I'm sorry, I should have concentrated on where they were from. I don't remember exactly which one may be from media, so I do apologize. I will let you know next month. Again, look at the website for all the activities at the library.
They show a movie every Friday at 1 o'clock.
That's right, and this week it's Brooklyn.
Yes, really delightful movie.
An excellent movie, I've heard. As I do every month, I'll read to you the bills, ratifying the bills that we paid in June. Out of the general fund, we drew $297,943.44. From the recreation fund, $2,674.81. And from the capital fund, $111,719.37. I make that in the form of a motion.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded that the borough pay its bills and avoid being a deadbeat. Does anybody have any questions or comments before I call the question? All right, all those in favor of the borough paying its bills for the month of June, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, please say nay.
Just
Motion passes.
some context there. We in our finance committee meeting 2 days ago, we reviewed the monthly and annual budget to date. And as the borough's budget has been trending this year, it's been doing pretty well. We're at this point about 2 months ahead of where we need to be on our revenue collections, which is a nice position to be in. And we're maybe half a month or so behind on our expenses. So we're doing very well. We're not out of the woods, of course. We have some big expenses coming up, but we expect the year to end on a positive note. I do have another motion to make, and that's for the renewal agreement for the organization called GO2, which does our IT backup work for the borough staff. They come in and help them when they have any sort of IT needs. That's been reviewed and found satisfactory by borough staff, and so I move approval of that contract renewal.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Any discussion on the motion? All those in favor of renewing the agreement with GO2 for Information Technology Network Administrative Services to the borough, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed, please say nay. There's some of you out there who aren't the agents recognize GO2 as the title of the next TCO, but I digress.
That's an obscure band, President Hall, but very good.
Trivia.
Yes, we're only making plans for Nigel. That's all I remember. Anyway,
We wanted to
look at that. Item number 5, which comes after item number 3 on the agenda, my third item. Yeah, you'll note, those of you with close reading will see that this is ratification for a mass gathering permit application for a mass gathering that happened last Saturday. So we talked about it in workshop, we had no problem, but we knew we couldn't really vote on it today, so we're ratifying that mass gathering permit post-dated. I make that in the form of a motion.
Second.
There is a motion and seconded. Any discussion on the motion?
Oh, by the way, it was the Second Baptist Church of Media's Vacation Bible School Faith Run, which essentially was an obstacle course near Tiny Tees in that block of Manchester.
All right, any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor of ratifying our decision to issue a mass gathering permit for the Second Baptist Church's Vacation Bible School Faith Run, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, please say nay. The motion passes.
Oh, that concludes my report.
Are there any questions for Councilman Williamson? Hearing none. Councilman Amy Johnson.
Thank you. Under EAC, the EAC is making a recommendation to support the completion of 500 miles of trails in the greater Philadelphia region by 2025. The circuit trails are a connected system of multi-purpose trails located in 9 counties that comprise the Delaware Valley Regional Planning Commission. The building of these trails is considered to be one of the largest metropolitan-wide multi-use trail building effort in the county, in the country, sorry. So I'd like to make that in the form of a motion to resolution number 2017-26, supporting the completion of trails in the Philadelphia region.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none. All those who vote in favor of approving Resolution 2017-26. This is with regard to indicating our support for the completion of trails in the Philadelphia region. Please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, please say nay. one step closer to an admirable goal.
Thank you. Fair trade and shade tree do not meet. And just, I know this is the time of year where our Borough residents are used to shopping at the Media Farmers Market, and I know it's something that is missed by many of us. So I just want to give a reminder that the market is on a hiatus. The committee is working hard behind the scenes to bring the market back for 2018. We're working on a new day of the week and a new location. And we're also working with an organization called City Harvest, which is a Philadelphia-based organization that helps towns like the Borough to start up and run a successful market, helping with vendors and the organization of farmers market. So just stay patient and stay tuned. That concludes my report.
Any questions for Councilwoman Amy Johnson? Hearing none, we'll pass along to Councilwoman Dixon.
Let's see, there's been a lot of positive press that's been going on. And one of the things that the mayor reminded me about is that for the 4th of July, not only did the kids do a great job of the bicycles and the tricycles and decorating and all of the things, the activities, but there were 2 of our local television stations there recording all of that and putting it on the news later. The archives have been busy with actually doing more research for folk or helping people with their research. And I am aware that one project that I left at my house that Adam and Walt have been working on has to do with those guns that are right there at the, not, the guns at the courthouse that are, yeah, and historic they are. One is a Spanish whoever, and they need to be bumped up and all, but obviously we've got something else, not just houses that are historic, but those right there. So check them out, take a photo. I had them one with me, but that's all I'm going to talk about.
You have one of the
today.
guns with you?
No, that's all I'm talking about today.
Just adding a little thrill to our meetings. All right. Any comments or questions for Sarah?
All right. Before we open back up to the public, I forgot, and I was asked to. For those that I'm sure almost know of the media Christmas parade that has been going on, they are doing a Christmas in July fundraising event. This coming Sunday, Community Center right here, 301 North Jackson Street, will be from 3 o'clock to 6 o'clock. I would encourage all the residents to come out, as they reference in their little ad, don your Hawaiian shirt and flip-flops and come to a Christmas event in July. I think there is not a person in the borough that hasn't recognized what a great event this is. And as you referenced earlier, Mr. President, nothing is free. Cost to put on these events. So we encourage our residents to come out. There will be a donation requested for $10. I'm sure it'll be a great day, and the only thing it will do is help add to the funds so that the Christmas parade is even bigger, better, and more exciting for the 2017 year. So I encourage all of us to come up Sunday, 3 o'clock to 6 o'clock. Put on your Santa hat and your Hawaiian shirt, and you'll be fine. So come and enjoy it.
All right. Now's the time where we open up our microphones to members of the public. If there's anybody here who wishes to ask council a question or make a comment, please come to the microphone, tell us who you are and where you live. No takers? So, we'll entertain a motion.
Motion to adjourn?
Wait, we do have.
You were slow to move.
You were?
5-second rule.
I've been sitting for an hour. At my age, it takes damn quick to get
Monica
done.
Rourke, North Lemon Street.
North Monroe Street.
Well,
Or Orange Street, pick one. Is this thing on?
it is on.
I just want to take a moment to thank council for the adoption of 1126 ordinance tonight. it's baby steps for us, and thank you all for putting in your time and effort and passing this evening. I also would like to take a moment, I never thanked your engineer. We had a little water issue on Lemon Street after Aqua came in last year, and when they repaved the road on Lemon Street, the crown was too high, and I had Niagara Falls in my side yard, literally. And so we've been working with Kevin, he's been working with Aqua, and I didn't want to thank you too early on in the game until we had some really good heavy rains. But it seemed the problem seemed to be rectified. So thank you for all your time and effort and correcting that problem for us.
How was it remedied? What was done?
They had to,
He's the engineer.
Really simply, they installed a slight lip, the asphalt curbing. So if the driveway, again, when it was crowned down, it was going right into the driveway, just a small lip. So if you were to drive by, you would see what appears to be a very minimal asphalt curb.
and it's actually our neighbor's driveway in Dr. Mark, the chiropractor next door. They had to come into his driveway about 3 feet to do this. Because when the water, because of the crown being so high, the water came down off the curb and it literally, it just poured. I had a pond on my little brick thing there and the steps. I woke up one morning and it literally sounded like Niagara Falls. So I took a video, the water just was rushing down the steps, and it compromised a little bit of the structure of my steps, but we can work on that. It was just getting that water issue so that the water could continue down Lemon Street, and this seems to have done the trick, so that's great. And thanks for doing the Santa thing. I was going to come up and do that anyway, but thank you. So that's it.
All right. It appears as if we have another day.
I know this is confusing because I'm here for another reason, as the program director for Media Fellowship House. And this Sunday, prior to the Santa, at 2 o'clock, we're having Dr. Sam Lemon speak about the Alexander McClay Williams story. And for those of you who have not heard anything about it, it is remarkable work on Sam's part. 30 years of investigation, after which he had the expungement of this case that took place in the 30s, which resulted in a young man of 16 years old being the youngest person ever executed for a crime in Pennsylvania. And Sam's great-grandfather, William Ridley, who was the first African-American lawyer admitted to the Delaware County Bar, had defended this young man. And it has been Sam's, I don't want to say his life's work, because he's done a lot of other things, but it has been a passion of his. He's now finished a book, and he's going to be speaking at Fellowship House on Sunday at 2 o'clock, and a book signing to talk about the work and what he's done. And knowing Sam, he'll go into some detail about the evidence that he found. And not only is Fellowship House behind all kinds of social and racial justice, but this is just one example of the kinds of things that we want to expose and promote and try and fix. And the fact that it's an 87-year-old case just shows you that everything old is new again.
Thank you.
And so it's a free event, 2 o'clock, Fellowship House, which is at Jackson, 302 South Jackson Street. And it's just one of the many things we're doing. I probably should stand up every month and talk about the programs that we're doing. And Mr. Robinson is on our board. Maybe I'll just pass it off to him, but I thought this was worth
And
mentioning.
I do apologize for forgetting.
Well, I'll remind you the next
Thank
time,
you.
because you know how much I love to get up and talk at the microphone. But it's exciting, and we'd love to have some support for Sam in this effort that he's done.
And it's air conditioned.
It is air conditioning.
It is has a kind of.
Well, we won't be having cookies this time. We usually, every program, there's a joke about the cookies. The program, which is on July 23rd, is not so coincidentally would have been the birthday of this young man, who only lived to 16. But, so we will be having a birthday cake in memory of him.
Councilman Williamson made a comment that I overheard. Sam Lemon, Dr. Lemon was on WHYY, the radio this past night. So if there are people out there who cannot make it for whatever reason on Sunday, they can listen to the replay on the website.
I didn't know that.
Yes.
I heard it tonight.
It's quite a compelling story.
It is a fascinating story. You know, local, one thing, but even if it wasn't local, it would be a very good read.
Thank you.
Thank you. Does anyone else wish to address council at this time? Hearing no other business, I will entertain a motion to adjourn that's been made. Is there a second?
We are adjourned.
Good night, folks.